Sunday.
Welcome back to Wired at Home.
Hope you've all had a great week and enjoyed yourselves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're about to play our game, but we actually pre-recorded the game in a new location.
Ooh. So come with us because we're heading outside.
What are we about to play?
War of Water.
Yeah. Welcome to War of Water. Dun, dun, dun.
It's a bit cold.
As you can see, we've got 10 glasses here and 2 jugs. How we play this game is you get a pack of cards, and then we're going to split the cards between us, and we'll count down. So we'll go 3, 2, 1. We'll then flip over the top card and show you the top card, then look at it ourselves. Whoever has the highest card wins, and whoever loses gets a glass of water chucked over them. That is how this game works. Are you ready?
I'm ready. Do you want to explain about the jug?
The jugs are for if we draw, so say we both had a 7, that means that the next round, whoever loses that one gets a jug chucked over them.
We'll show the cards to the camera before we show each other.
So you'll know who's going to get soaked before we do. Round 1.
Round 1. Okay. 3, 2, 1.
Okay, on the table.
No!
Round 2.
3, 2, 1. Please, go down. No! Alright. It's gonna take short. 3, 2, 1. Oh. No! I hate this game.
Round 4.
3, 2, 1. Oh, what does Joker mean?
I don't know. We'll have to do that round again.
Oh. Alright, 3, 2, 1. Please. Yes!
No!
I'm going for the big one. Yes!
Okay.
Alright. 3, 2, 1. Oh. No! You missed!
Alright, do you want me to do that again?
No! Alright. Ready?
Yeah.
3, 2, 1. Oh, please. Yes!
Oh no!
You got 2. Oh. Yes!
Okay. How many more are we doing?
A few.
Okay. 3, 2,
1. Yeah! A king and an ace. This is cool. 3, 2, 1.
Okay, so whoever loses this one gets the jug on them.
Please let me get this. Please let me get this. 3, 2, 1.
Disclaimer, we didn't realise that the cards went up to 13, but it was too late.
Yeah! What? Ace trumps everything.
That's not ace!
King. Oh, I don't know what we do. 13. Why is there 13?
But I don't know what that means.
Do we go again?
Yeah, let's go again.
3, 2, 1.
Okay.
Yeah! Why is there a 13 in there? Alright, 3, 2, 1. Please, please. Yes! Come on! The jug of jug.
Pour it. You have to chuck it.
All right. Ready? Put your hands down. 3, 2, 1.
Oh, sorry.
All right. 2, 1. Yes.
Oh, no.
Put your hands down. Yeah.
Okay, last go.
Last round.
Ready?
All right.
3,
2, 1. What? I had 2 cards, so. Yes! You ready? You might be ready to close your eyes for this one. Yes! Thanks for joining. Winner!
So I hope you enjoyed War of Water. We both did.
I thoroughly enjoyed it, particularly because I won.
I don't think you won.
Yes, I did.
How did you win?
Because I got the most cards
I
right.
don't think so. We'll look back and decide.
But yeah, that's a good game if you want to get involved with your family. See if you can play it with your parents or your siblings, but make sure you do it outside.
But it's an excuse to chuck water over them.
Exactly.
So.
Any excuse for that is a good excuse.
Yeah. So this morning we're going to be talking about hearing from God and listening to his voice. And to start, Jack's just going to read to us from 1 Samuel 3, verse 1 to 10. So if you've got a Bible, go and grab one and read along with us.
So this is 1 Samuel 3, verse 1 to 10. The boy Samuel ministered before the Lord under Eli. In those days, the word of the Lord was rare. There were not many visions. One night, Eli, whose eyes were becoming so weak that he could barely see, was lying down in his usual place. The lamp of God had not yet gone out, and Samuel was lying down in the temple of the Lord, where the ark of God was. Then the Lord called Samuel. Samuel answered, "Here I am." And he ran to Eli and said, "Here I am, you called me." But Eli said, "I did not call. Go back and lie down." So he went and lay down. Again the Lord called, "Samuel." And Samuel got up and went to Eli and said, "Here I am, you called me." "My son," Eli said, "I did not call. Go back and lie down." Now Samuel did not know the Lord. The word of the Lord had not yet been revealed to him. The Lord called Samuel a third time, and Samuel got up and went to Eli and said, "Here I am, you called me." Then Eli realized that the Lord was calling the boy. So Eli told Samuel, "Go and lie down, and if he calls you, say, 'Speak, Lord, for your servant is listening.'" So Samuel went and lay down in his place. The Lord came and stood there, calling as at the other times, "Samuel, Samuel." Then Samuel said, "Speak, for your servant is listening."
Thanks, Jack. So in this story we hear about Samuel, who God speaks to, but Samuel doesn't recognise his voice. And the reason Samuel doesn't recognise his voice is because he's never heard it before. For some of us, we may not have heard God speak. We may not have felt God speak to us individually, and that's okay. It takes time to learn God's voice and to know what he's saying to us. Sometimes we make listening to God more complicated than it needs to be. Just like Samuel that kept thinking it was Eli that was talking to him, sometimes we might just think it's our own thoughts. But God wants to speak to each of us. A few weeks ago at Wired, or a few months ago, we were talking about prayer and talking about how prayer is just conversations with God. So in a conversation, you expect to hear back from someone as well. And it's the same when we're talking to God. We shouldn't just be speaking at him, not waiting for any response. We might not know what God sounds like. We might not know how to hear God's voice, and that's what I want to talk a bit about this morning and next week. God speaks to us in loads of different ways. Very rarely is it through an audible, booming voice. For me, I often find that God speaks to me through thoughts, through dreams, and through his word, through the Bible. when we ask God to speak to us, He will. And it can take time to learn that. I remember when I first had a picture from God in my head, it was of a birthday cake. And I had no idea what it meant. I just asked God to speak to me, and a picture of a birthday cake came into my head and wouldn't go away. When I have thoughts that are reoccurring, or pictures that keep coming back to me, usually that's God trying to tell me something. I find God speaks to me through thoughts, and one time that God spoke to me was when me and Jack moved to New Zealand. When we were on the plane, I was praying and I was saying to God, look, we're following what you've told us to do. And I felt really sad because we were leaving all our friends and family at home. We were going to the other side of the world, and I just needed God to speak to me and to know that He was with me. And I felt God say to me this phrase that I've carried with me through the time that we've been here. And it was this phrase of, you've got this and I've got you. I felt God reminding me that I have got it because He has got me. Whatever life throws at me, whatever comes my way, God has got my back and God is looking after me. And in that moment, that reassurance of Him telling me that I've got this, I can do this because He's got me, was what I needed to hear, and has really helped me when I've felt low or had hard times over these past few months. So God might speak to you through a phrase, and whenever God speaks to us, it's something that will be encouraging, and He speaks to us good things. He would never speak to us things to harm us. And that's really important to remember when we're thinking about and trying to learn to listen to God. So what I want you to do this week is I want you to start practicing listening to God, whether you've done it before or you've never done it in your life. This week I want you to take time every day to ask God to speak to you. And He might give you a picture, He might give you a thought, or He might speak to you through the Bible. But what I want you to do is write that down and then speak to someone that you trust about what they think God could be saying through that. Pray to God and ask Him to speak to you, and then ask Him what that thing means for your life or for someone else. But if you don't understand what it means, or you think it could be a few things, then ask your parents or someone else that you trust to pray with you about it and to ask what God could be saying through that. God wants to speak to each of us and wants to encourage us and have a relationship with us which is two-way, and have conversations with us which is two-way. So let's start learning about what could God be saying to us this week. So I'm just going to pray for us. So God, thank you that you want to speak to us. Thank you that you want to speak into our lives and for us to know you more. And God, I pray this week as we spend time listening to you that you would speak to us. In Jesus' name, amen.
Thanks, Zoe. That's great, and it's so good that we have a God that wants to speak to us in different ways. So, two things. We'll get onto our weekly challenge in a moment, but this upcoming week we're going to have another FIFA tournament. We'll put it out on the social media stuff of when it's going to be. But if you want to come and get involved, we'd love you to. Asher won the last one. So if anyone wants to try and dethrone the FIFA king, then come along. We'd love to have you and to play. So we'll put the details out, but keep an eye out for it and come and get involved. Yeah. But this week's challenge is we want to see how many toilet rolls you can stack up on your head and balance. So you may use some teamwork for this. If you need someone's help to put the loo rolls on your head, then feel free to do that. But we want to see who can get the most and if you can balance them on a tower on your head.
But there are a few rules.
Oh, yeah?
You cannot tape or string or put your toilet rolls together in any way of cheating.
It has to be purely gravity.
Balance.
And balance.
I mean, that's the only rule.
Yeah. Give it a go. We're going to try after this. But yeah, hope you have a great week.
I haven't finished.
Zoe hasn't finished, so over to you, Zoe.
So also, as well as the toilet roll tower challenge, make sure that you spend some time with God this week, asking Him to speak to you, and ask your parents questions, or get in contact with us and ask questions about how you can understand God more, how you can hear God more, and we'd love to help you with that. But have a great week, and we'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye. So Jack, how many do you think you're going to do?
Well, I've gone for 5 here, but I'm not sure I'm being too optimistic. So give it a go. See how you go.
3, 2.
Yeah.